conseguir. Shiri Abu Shibuji Shisude. Mother Poi Chochore. The second of all the miso Jovichu to Chundal paper to Tabacomure. Uncle Jeda Mamure. Jedaji Chogun don't show Puru, Jerusalem, and Janjo Pusatomore. It about Baji Google, Trouble Seven Nadia Kenchi, Chunda no much lady or tie or ya. How did treat like Janjo the K. Jugabala. Janjo Kung the K, Shinduna, Janjo the K, So Shindu Kong K, like in Kunyipa, Jerusalem, the Sham, and the Chimapa. And the Shingo Marilagin. Paruchi Lagin Yata. Nepa, Rusho, Jola, Tobato, Tema, Chujeche, and Judine, Ma, Sonche, told Deva, and Paruchili, I show asks. And I was a ma, Corrigan, Tuchimola Consuni, Chumi, Satan, like a Karichigo the dead ever. And like Mizimoto, Jedin, Chuje, you can sound of Chebra, Koniga Cabra. The Parutica Lema goods and Jerusalem, Jessa. Then Jerumus, so hero, Jerumus, so hero, Sasson loves. The last and then Miss Monton, Uncle Chiloma, the Goro, today I humor. Ya, child, have one instance. On the man so few Janja Sassus. Janja Sajo. Tachuron those son chimid pa the rhythm Chuguna look Sheziji good che Chugun pa che Samaya was Sonson Ru Gamna Lu Janju pa Sham Chin to Tumbache and Su Kisho as Ned Korachi Yellow Louise and lost. You want to let share one. Turbuchimia and Tondu. When you're lugging the Sabata would it, a machine, the Cherujan, you would have somebody. Lugging shadow, Chedu, Sugar, Miss Wanderne, how we are long, Dodigre, and Gituchi or Tilla, Cher Meton shooter in Jashin Busu, Toban de Tuchi Kushos. How could touch Meton? Lavande, Minde, Jedway Lagik. Zugukanga with the Jasu Yusa. Again, Zugukan and Jasu de Lucares. Ah, Kawaimba, Chajo Mache, Churomi, Chu or and then Chadialu, Chajiton. They two to Churon dead, they two Shindo, Kabuja Sashu. Masago me, Sunsa. This has an died provoke Chilu to this, and the Ganala, this shady. There was a shaman. Chunta Chutuma, the Nelson, she said, the Nelson, Gishila, Sancho, and Trisur of Najanoro now Archer. Yai asks. They're going to sit in Shimara. Sancho lady, not to sit in Lavada. Trisur, Sugar, the Chunzel, the Shanzo Ayona six. What's the Shan Cargo in Yamas? Those go red asks. Javani, Kayuyachi, Maja Duchi, Buari. Asa, Janani, Kim, Tridachi, Buari, Pondachi, Buari. Kani, Chichi, Salagi, Minagata, Chichi, Mido, Zambakachi, Buari. Chichi, Kayum, Zakushaji, Buari. Coco, Nikum, Kashiku, Bunji, Buari. What's it today? You have a Takarcho. That day, man, John, you might, Jumon, I would do it, the Shatsu cage, Yungo asked us. Truth she makes a long sensation, some of that. Jubakashi today, you know. There was the Juju, and so they made to see you would do the Tonja, Long Jikashi or Tan deva chayatile deva chayala devi setavs deva tandio ha rondo ge mi ba chayata tama ton shavari ali teto ani ha rondo ko de mi ba rimi chene mi ba mango yinza jerin cheseru yore.
So we have just come to the part where one does the recitation of the mantra, and the text here contains the many different the visualization that which one has to do while reciting the mantra.
Debe mi ba de la le jige la jeba ko shayo ne chelochi ndrim ba da de ba le ta mi ba yogure ba yogure tarin aran sun jeba ne yore.
So the text that you find here is the body mandala with great elaboration. So therefore it contains accordingly the type of visualization in a very elaborate way that one has to perform while reciting the mantra.
Dachi bisha yoro jiwa yoro o da ran lar se jo di shin kolo zanda sonju zani te ma chane sane di shin kolo zanda randa da sonju zani go se ba de she chari imba luji ge la ganga go chari dan ne mi de la ni ga chu ju kolo u ji ji mo mo to gan da we jing go me she ji me re ka bo ba da bo o de ne ma da go ya.
So we have already placed the deities in one's body in the five different chakras, from the crown to the sacred place, and so now we start reciting the text which contains the visualizations while reciting the mantra. So first thing is that we have to think of the chakra and the heart.
Dan jinga chu ju kolo yu so ji zama hum zonggur gu yo ro wa ji li ji zan de je li je ji ge zo de zomo so koran ne ru ji le me wa la dan ha jin du se bu sha tu gu ma re ma ra zo me ba ji ju yu sam sa che.
So first thing is that we have to concentrate at the heart. Then we have 9 deities with one in the center, and then so these are all very in a very small size, like the size of a grain, and it will be difficult to get the precise clarity and the vividness of those deities.
Jizama ngumi togan dawe jingor me she jing me de khabu ba tabus nigalan dawe jingor chi sam dongor dawe jingor be me shel chi me de khabu ba tabus shigo me she singe de nobure nobu karbu me shigene be me shel singe de tande ba kombu ingre shambala le yove tsere me she stak mandari be me shel chi me de khabu ba tabus shige me de na je karbu te use ta huyi ki tangi tsemba tangi hungi tsemba.
And then the first thing that we have to visualize is at the heart of the central figure of the deity, at the heart. Then we have to visualize a little disc, little disc of crystal nature, and it is a type of a jewel. It's called manchil. And it's said that one finds this white crystal jewel in the land of Shambhala. But anyway, that one has to first visualize this little disc, crystal disc, at the heart of the central figure of the chakra at the heart.
Tangi hungi tsemba sung yori pisha korona la. Yo inzam tangi hungi tsemba sudi jita da yigi tamche. Tangi ndatse tele nanda yori tele nolo la hungche. Tere ina ni lamado changi chashi la hungi tangi tsemba sung yori. Nizengi sung she yimada. Hungi tiche, chewo undeba toga hungi tsewe dewa so sanya hasyado. Te tsarwa nesu yigi sung dire hungi tiche. 홍게 레고 나로라 이게 담디 이게 담이 정부 홍이 공부 이게 담이 정부제.
So you find here in the text that in the circle of the syllable tam, then one has to visualize the syllable home in the circle of the syllable tam. But according to the teaching of Judge Pamukkha, then it is said that one should visualize in the circle of the syllable home a green syllable tam.
제라문도 좀 자주 해야 돼. 따부 배문면서 숨쉬기 중요해. 인생의 숨쉬어야 돼. 대인상 로터는 요야다 라면 숨쉬 니자라 카가 요인다. 가르치니 저거 요인다 하수요래. 홍당의 참아 전에 저거 요인다. 당 홍의 참아 전에 저거다.
So at the time that Great Master Judge Pamukkha, when he received the teachings on this subject, then it was explained to him by his guru, Tavu Padma Vajra. He told him that one should visualize the syllable tham in the circle in the tigle of the syllable home. But actually there's no difference. One can do either one likes.
당 홍의 탈라 다리도 소 이기디 과구르고 거래. 과구르데 뇌에 잡데 연구도 그거 숨요래. 뇌라 옴제. 홍다 옴니 가져지고요. 아니 뇌다다들 다리 소하 이기줄이 다른 달에 알아온데게 이게 장고 매 수고를 저부지다 갖고 이제 잡아서로 저부 저리 멤버 베리진도 시디는 소잡아서로 이게 봉사라 봉보 타살라 타보.
And so right after that one has to visualize the circle of mantra starting from the front side, then it goes the clockwise, the one ring of a mantra, and there the central syllable home and the beginning syllable of the mantra om, then coming sort of then face to face, and then thus it goes one time the clockwise, and all the syllables are luminous and not sort of flat or it's all sort of very radiant luminous characters.
가도 정고 말게 넣으시. 대배자 코코 멤버 농부. 패시리 이게 렘바 멤버 삼으로지. 두지스가 퉁퉁 살동이하고 요래. 이게 감가.
And also all the syllables are green syllables, the color of the jewel market, and not sort of very dry and without any luminosity, but one has to visualize them something very living and something very radiant and luminous, as though they are wet with the dews of nectar coming from the bodies of those syllables. Also it is very good if one can visualize those mantras, so sort of self-sounding.
따기다 두다리 세라노 수수게 다디 이게 코는 수타네 배 자샤나시 다투데.
Each syllable then producing their own tone or the sound. For example, that om is producing its own tone, and then like all of the rest of the syllables, then producing their own kind of a tone and a sound.
다 전부 시라 용어마로와 두모 코는 취주치 내르지 매와 아니 대 도간다에 중고다 이엔루치다 매바 따즈게 부즈게 자베 차셰자마도 요데 요거 말해봐데 근데지 요 세부 요 삼버체 밤이바 야고지 매바 야고지.
So since the body of the deity of the central figure in the central one in the heart is itself very small, and so therefore it has got to be extremely small, those syllables that one has to visualize at her heart, and they are like like being drawn with one single piece of hair, sort of very fine type of syllables. So it will not be easy to get them clear, but nevertheless that one should think that the syllables are there. So there are two possible visualizations explained. The one is the fulfilling the two purposes, And the second one is to perform the various activities of the mandala to benefit sentient beings. So there are two possible visualizations explained here. And so the first one is the first possible visualization is to fulfill the purpose of oneself and others. And for this, first from this mantra ring, from the mantra circle, then emanate a lot of rays of light out.
So ji tamda hung semba hung tam semba kari chigina or tamina tami nanda hungi nanda deliver was a true.
So actually from the when you send out rays of light, then the rays of light coming from the bodies of all the deities in one's in the different chakras, and especially from the central figure of the heart chakra, and from the heart of this deity, from the syllable thumb. If you visualize the syllable thumb in the circle of syllable home, then you have to emanate rays of light coming from the tiny nanda of that syllable thumb. So in such a way that we have to visualize sending out those rays of light. So you have to visualize sort of very great rays of light sending out, as though there are 100,000 suns shining simultaneously, and such a great amount of light has to be sent out.
So the
light, the rays of light are going out into every possible directions, up and down, every possible directions.
Chola tela choba che na sanwa te konani choba samji me choba truine choju sanje chanchu sima samala choba kala gansang be choba samji me choba pu.
And then with those rays of light, one has also to send out the offerings, and making offerings to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. And also the offering is done on many different levels, on external, on inner, secret, and also on the level of the suchness. And so through having done this offering, then it has sort of generated sort of a great bliss in that state of mind. So in some rays of light there are no goddesses, but just the offering is done only through those rays of light, and then striking those to the bodies of those Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And by through the touch of those rays of light to the body of those Buddhas of 10 directions, then that sort of activates or exalts the Buddhas.
Because my younger dreamer ringa you could part of me for some Jimmy Nake Charbaba Nashi. Tari to Tari Turiso, Yikin Hagi, in the part of me. Oh, Daganaja, Tami la soba, 7 part of me, Tami the Hui. Then Rambuchi, Jen Jella soba, Jencha. Chasen Ubala la soba, there are some Jimmy Sheva, that go soon to your native leg, where you then someone go you then touch a good number change. Soon you then touch Tari to Tari Turisa. Zongage nabache. Tuji yende taji chasen tanda saben tami da hungi nabache. Chilege yende taji chasen ubala la sobe chasen ge nabache. Yende kusung to yende ja yende tamal koyir muchi jenda. Terege nabache na ke kanga wazan de jenda. Choba pa phuken ga lamoda jeba chu yone ral har se wala su sip si tim.
So those rays of light and bringing back the lot of blessings of the Buddhas, and all the physical blessings of the Buddhas will be collected back in the form of the 5 different deities of Tara with the different colors, such as like the white, red, blue, yellow, green, and so forth, and then it will be absorbed into one's body, and all the blessings of the speech will be collected back in the form of syllables, in the form of the mantras, and especially the syllable tam and the syllable hum, and collecting back into one's body, and all the material blessings of those Buddhas will be collected back in the form of the jewel ornaments, and all the blessings of the activities of Buddhas in the form of the various instruments, such as like the utpala, flowers, and so forth. So finally, all of those rays of light, and as well as the blessings, will be collected back into one's body. So that's by collecting back all of those rays of light, and with blessing, that one's santana, that one's stream of consciousness, is sort of then being blessed by those Buddhas, and then also one has to send out more rays of light, and this time the rays of light going out into the 6 realms of life.
Mela chiga nachi dunge, Dodula lenshi timumba da kuishi jube dunge, Yeda la jishin kumba da ngenshi jibe dunge, Nyawa la tsarang tsusi ki dunge, Riru susi dunge. Chitang la dine kuwebe dunge dan juwe dunge, shabdi juwe dunge, kuwe diwe dunge, tsangwa la jang, wezebe riba zangebe dunge dida da che.
So this time that when the rays of light going out into those 6 realms of life, then for example, the rays going out into the realm of the God, then liberating them from their state of sufferings, especially from the type of suffering they experience at the time of their death, and especially the asuras also being freed from their general sufferings, in particular from their fighting and from their jealousy. And then likewise that all the sentient beings from the 6 realms of life, completely liberated from their state of sufferings. So the like striking those sentient beings, then having the power of like the alchemical transformations. So if one has just a little amount of this chemical, then it can transform a great amount of iron into gold. So likewise that through striking slightly by this rays of light are all completely transformed physically, verbally, and mentally.
Toge Martinle was it was it simply little river zangwe, Domain DJ Pasha Danjeva Janela, Lut Hameba de Pajan Jisudum, Goloju, Sim Dameba, Nyomut, Tosunda Jebe, Sim de Johnny, Sim Tobank, Chukoloju, To Same, Longoloju, where Sanjay Jisala goes from Sambroche.
So just by striking through those rays of light, all of the defilements are completely purified, and the ordinary body is transformed into the divine body of the deity, and their minds are completely transformed into the mind of the Dharmakaya, the state of Dharmakaya, and so all of the different states are transformed into the states of different Buddhas. So in such a way this transformation has taken place.
Yang zang go de jigo dongme degree de jiwa chen degree pe de yin sin chen so khalan ruwa le sa lu torba chuti ba ji torba zang ge be de chama jang ni yang sanje jisen phama drime ko phona ko sung sam ba.
So sometimes one can also send out instead of rays of light only the nectar, the flow of nectar, and just by just becoming one drop to the body of those sentient beings, then is able to is fully capable of purifying all the negative imprints and placing them to the state of the deity.
Ya rangi thoge ma ta rangi kholonga ya lada thoga da tami da harin da chevale jizeme ko truine jizeme ko pa to me ba sinje ge chanta nya ba nyezi ge du chi ba da na ke khang khang pa tru.
Sometimes instead of sending out rays of light from your body, you can also emanate countless forms of Tara from your body, which completely could fill the whole space.
Dene sije re ge be no do chani cha yebe tsemol be dizipo te sinje su chi ul ma shu ni duzi jen bo ba ya chojin ji cha jen ze ba mi le ten ba da chojin de ni jin cha ja ju ngol ju ju che bo no.
And so sometimes through this visualization of sending out countless forms of the deity, then as soon as that each of those forms, then coming to each of those different sentient beings, then from their finger, like the left finger, then from those tip of those fingers, then coming out rays of light, purifying all of those sentient beings. And sometimes that by placing the hand on the crown of those sentient beings and receiving the full blessings.
Sometimes
from the feet of those deities then coming rays of light, which also purifies all sentient beings. So sometimes the deities then placing their feet on the crown of each of those different sentient beings for the mean of to purify their negative imprints. And to some sentient beings then they give particular teachings, enlightened teachings. And to some that they send out rays of light to bless, to give blessings through rays of light. And to some sentient beings then they send out the second forms then who give them the special empowerment and initiations. And to some sentient beings then they send out the second forms which completely absorbs into their body, so by this then receiving blessings. So when you recite the mantra, you can expand by doing many different possible visualizations in alternative way. So the sending out these rays of light and nectar and the countless forms of the deity, these three different things which emanate from your body and have also the different purposes. By sending out rays of light, then placing all sentient beings to the state of the Dhammakaya, and by sending out rays of nectar, then bringing all sentient beings to the state of the form body of the Buddha, and by sending out those countless forms of the deity, then placing all sentient beings to the state of the unification of the Buddha. So by sending out those countless forms, then they also give teachings to the sentient beings which contain all the aspects of the Lamrim, such as the practice of a Guru devotion and the meaning and the value of this full endowed human state, then renunciation, bodhicitta, right understanding, emptiness, and all of the aspects of the parameters, and as well as offering initiations, empowerments, and so through this various means that one fulfills the wishes of those sentient beings.
산재가 칠레들 손 도로 되네 예와로 돈이 주사지 로나 시벨에 다는 도나 실랑 거 봐서 모두 지금 탈 손요 칠레 주사지 이거는 시제가 된제 미바제 줘래
So according to clear realization of the ornament of the clear realization of Buddha Maitreya, he said the activities of the Buddhas can be explained with respect to 27 different factors.
다 산재가 연대 저 전신 나는 좀 기분나 여바 간가 단다 다제 걸어 산재가 연대 되다 되고 이제 시제가 된 지가 여바 상로 동시에나 아니 연대 조지 melangwa 통어 두지 코나 대주 전세야 되마 연대만 무슨 아나죠 원주 또주 원주제 데려가 연대 뭐요래 다 저가 신고만 시 자기에 말이
So in the great text there are a lot of the explanations on the great qualities of the Buddha, such as like the 8 powers and the 10 powers and so forth. And if one has studied those, then one can apply understanding of those things here in the practice of the sadhana. So that will be very great.
Today, Salo Dong Dong Sinjiki Dong Chigi Chigi Tsu Dugu Dugu Pa Juba Pa Dugu Dugu Tsu Dugu 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 Miba Chani, and in Handu.
So you have seen that you have to emanate those rays of light to the sentient beings and collecting back, and then this will be repeated many times. So that is it's done while you are engaged in the actual recitation of the mantra.
That when you give me bache. That on the Miba Jaji in the Talo, Miba Mambu, that turn remove Deva in, remove and Salo Dong in, Tule Labo, Salo and Mamu Don Juraba, Mamu Dria Yungri. 도지 다 진구 제초기 미바다 레와 지금 다 되냐 마야주 이게 지금 중국 걸레라도 가스노 중국 라다 받으면 뭐지
that's fine.
건조 나무 건조 딱이 열로 매로서 건조 딱이 열로 이게 지금 중국 국부들 란다파도 매워 주니 우동어다 냠도 주변 매워지 수수고 파도도 너고 예바는 호출 전에 주니 나게 타셔도 파주
So when you come to this the visualization, you have to send out the countless forms of the deity with your breathing out through the right nostril. Then you send out the countless forms of the deity out.
진고 제초된 것은 대중 상대나 레들이 메저바랑에 도가 좀 배자리 도가 제초 조주를 시시나냐네 시나장 사티리 되네 마제 손주 손이요 지제 이놈을 해주거든 저의 연구 받으면 신년에 시나장 주인시다 어디마 다베 니오리 첨바르고 지진이네 주지지요 사주송의 주송 더버실이지 제이콘의 지지 정해요 어디서지 진고 제초스리
So actually
the sort of 단딜 상로동의 진고 제초 가가제 상로동의 세제념 뭐가 디바 정주를 다른데 나가가래
So what happens is here through the various activities of the mandala, it will be carried out in order to benefit sentient beings. Is also you find in the Guaya Samaja, and the Guaya Samaja that you find there are 32 the different groups, and then in the practice of Vajravarava, you find 15 the different activities which will be carried out to benefit sentient beings, and here you find in 5 groups. That means to eradicate the 5 different types of afflictive emotions of the sentient beings.
다들 예부시에나 고구마를 상거도 디네 질러져 맞는 리지 말이야. 나라서 코디야 되게 짜와짜와데 녀무도 손게 거네 랑데 뭐지냐 내려 시당도 지그래. 콩루들이 시당스도 시랑게 거는 데베 디바 망고 사는 거지 거대고요. 다 나신 마셴바체 레준데 마셴바 아니 조단 데비 추 마셴바 관사게 되면 또 뭐지 마셴바 추 마셴바 베가네나 무니 데모 쟁게 되는 거지 거대버리.
So the basic the reason that one is always within this existence is that there are three types of the root causes, and one of it is the hatred, which is the anger, and motivated by this afflictive emotion, that one goes to accumulate a lot of unwholesome causes. And another one is that through lacking the understanding of the different aspect of the Dharma, such as the cause and the effect, and understanding of the emptiness, and so thus lacking the precise understanding, motivated by that, one also goes to accumulate a lot of unwholesome causes.
노르롱 줄 세나제 수마데르제 타나 세나스냐 공 추인체의 세나제에 되게요 말이야. 세나지그리 세나 공용해 랑게 마데르 미에 바지기 돼서 통 아카테마데 초가스 미 제바토줄라 가고체 세나지그리 세나 그베 아니 저지마 이다지 루그레 밀르레나 쪼부 사지 통주 전부 지지그리 동 세나제게 돼. So 나je 나시부지 사베베 양아 예제등에 저치마 온산 메케 추주질 지고요. 신나다가 제니 고안 고야 자와지지 그래.
So another possible cause is the miserliness, and this comes to manifest with respect to one's wealth, and sometimes even through this attitude through this manufacture, one doesn't want to impart the knowledge to others through teaching or through advices, through instructions, and also sometimes through this manufacture one tries to obstruct others from doing the practice of giving. And the possible cause of these is to take rebirth as hungry ghosts in the next life. And then another one is the pride, and if one has too much of pride, then this will also cause to take a rebirth in that one does not have any power. So these two are also one of the root causes. Through these one can accumulate a lot of unwholesome causes. And another root cause is the desire, and this one can generate with respect to the sentient beings, and as well as to the inanimate objects like the property and so forth. And then this attitude of the mind then completely binds the mind to the object, and thus one is being unable to separate it from that state, and then thereby accumulating many causes which are unwholesome. And then
Mila chu yunde yuken le chadoche, chujala yuken le chadoche, tam nyeda yuken le chadoche, mi pensun so kandeji le ina chadoche ne, yenjur pensun tongsi mizu ba asche ba, yen juba pensun so kari yune tila magani be chadoche, chado tu du shi jigre.
Another great cause of trouble is the jealousy, and this comes to manifest with respect to the goodness of others and not being able to bear, and so this also acts as a cause, as a foundation to accumulate a lot of unwholesome actions and imprints.
Tandi ko nyomu to ngabodi jangore, jang nyomu ba ngabodi pa jang ne phumu ngabodi nejur dangore, phumu ngabodi madabe mu so so andu shindu jise, phumu ngabodi pa nejur ya de da de kagachi yo imda. Yan nejurje, de nejur gari yungore sene sanje gi to gi yishinga de to yungure. 저는 그런데 대리 아니 니지고 와서 생제나 니지 녀모가 동해온 고안의 창을 고알라 타매봐 동해라 타매봐 배 조주산매 동해 빠도며 냐고의 셰도 니지 동해게 자와 녀모가 동아 대외나는 시제나 시당게 온 고안의 니지 산에 아니 니게 지점알에 란다 빠도며 또 동화다냐도 나본 바 주인의 신제 시당나지 시당장.
So, what will be purified here are the 5 poisons. The 5 poisons, and also the 5 aggregates will be transformed, and as a result one achieves the 5 wisdoms of the Buddha. And at this point, the first thing that one has to do is to develop a very powerful compassion with respect to the sentient beings and the sufferings. And then one, with this compassion, one sending out the countless forms of the deity and purifying the sentient beings from sufferings they experience from the root cause of hatred.
시당 정도디에 세 좀 뭐 빠도 매바 주데 세제라는 수수이 개와던 상과 가셰를 추 때는 정고야리 추시 가셰를 뒤집어는 정고야는 뭐를 뒤집어줘 가셰는 배셔 조진이 찾아 되는 정고야 가셰를 조진이 찾아 되는 정고야 가셰를 배 고파 때문에 정고야 가셰 진고도 주는 정고야 진고 되는 시간에 전문에 나래 고 차네 너도로는 시당 배 도지리지 진고도 주네 온고 제도 그 도바 줘는 사지에 살을 거비 미바체 와다 돈도 아니 세제나게 시당 문주로 즉 질와니 소바 시당 사변의 제바 마방게 바기베 그 탑시도 저네 세제가 시당장 경매 제보되라 남시지 부모의 내줄 내 내줄베 내줄되라 추진이시 뭐도지 세제 속에 추인이시 도중 상가시 도수 상가시 아니 세제다 고송도 고고래 추고 추인이시를 고 롱고 되게 주고 고한을 고 주고 지점을 정보를 고 단체를 고송고 고한을 고 주고 지점을 정보를 고 고대나게 다리도 들어서 랑경 하대야데 우르냐데 등고에 미바체 대통령이 고 모든 거 봐도 왜 다리도 송 우르제는 되는데 아니 사지 있고 더 차네 고 모든 거 봐도 유배 미바체 라게 파 주의자가 다들 소팅 단도는 제 차니 되고 말와 소팅 야 나보 영어 소쇼 도게 마콜리티 미바직들
다시 대장이야 뭐야 고맙습니다. So the first thing that you have to do is to send out the countless forms of the deities, and so the actual act of the benefiting sentient beings are very different from each other, and some that they give teachings, and to some they give cause transformations through sending out rays of light from their body, and to some that they send out rays of light from the different mudras, such as like the mudra of the giving highest attainment, and to some they send out rays of light from giving of the refuge, and to some they give initiations, and so thus bringing about the spiritual development among those different beings. And then what will be ultimately eliminated through this purification is the hatred, as well as the causes of that hatred is completely purified, and at the same time the consciousness aggregate is transformed, and the sentient beings attain to the state of the wisdom of Dhammadhatu, and so finally placing all sentient beings to the state of the 3 bodies of Buddha, and remaining there forever, and at the same time that the sounding of the mantra of the deity.
That's the shed, that is in the tone, Takure. Nakanga Yordan, no Yibuti, Yubuchen, that is in the tongue, Chipore. Taya Sejana Chadogi on Mazda, Timugi on Gibenium, Timu Jimine, Koa Niji, Sambachan, Tedan Chavacha, Sambagone, Chiwajizuma, Karmuzungo, Sunju Susun de la Raniva, Nabu Uba Yavan, Sinjana, Timuja. They are there, Chibarita, Shia, Gunanda, Dizitor Gunanda, Kata, Tanama, not so you go to sing at Timuja. Zoji Pum nature, Melonda Vishi Motoche, Chugut Melonda Vishilako, Longo Naban Hazeko, Honlako, Chugu Druma Carmuco, or then I did Urunda di Shoson, Sanji, that's Sanji Salako, Saturday. Wrong partridge of had so loyal, Jew had the Zavella, so him, Chixie, me.
So then the next round, the pattern is very much similar to the one before. So this time the the countless forms of the deity then go out from the crown, that where you have these 33 white deities, and they go out with the breathing through the when you breathe, then through the right nostril, and this time also through the various the methods, different methods, then all the sentient beings are freed from their state of ignorance and as well as the cause of it, and transforming the form aggregate and placing them to the state of the mirror-like wisdom, and bringing about three transformations. One is the transforming them into the Zambokaya form, which is transforming them into the Buddha Vairochana, and then the transformation of the Nimanakaya is transforming all sentient beings in the form of the white Tara. And after that, when action is completed, you have to collect them back into your body.
Sene leji nyata niwe sene onge sejin jiwe donga tu nichi tele driwa chao samba chane tewe jizoma semu tuju renga tele randa ba de meba se churu jene ba na ke khong khong dru seje na je sena jang nga je da sena jang chugu nyamba ni ji ishi la ko longo ri chen jo de ji ko hon la ko chugu dru semu ko la ko nga ji da du chen ju be mi ba che pa dru be tha so di.
So next one is the with respect to the miserliness. So this time that with very strong, powerful compassion to free the sentient beings from the extremes of the permanence and the nirvana, then you send out again countless forms from the deities, from your neighbor, all of those then with the yellow body, and then helping all sentient beings to eradicate the negative, the matter factors such as the pride and miserliness, and placing them to the state of the basic wisdom of equality, and finally also you have to collect them back into your body. And then after that, from your throat, the deities with red body, again you have to send out countless forms, and then purifying the sentient beings from their desire. And transforming the aggregate of recognition.
Sustovi Shilaku, Lungo Ubamajico Honlaku, Drugu Druma Mami Culture. Chulun Sunja Kusunga Honlaku, Chui Taya, Tajingo to Chu Unguya to Jibade. And so through this activity, the sentient beings then attain to the state of the discriminate wisdom of the Buddha, and also bring about three transformations of the Dhammakaya, and as well as the Sambhokaya and the Nimanakaya. After that, from the sacred place, again you have to send out countless forms of the deities with in the green color, with green body. And this time the main delusion which is to be purified is the jealousy. And this also brings three transformations, and such as the transforming them into the transforming the formation aggregate, and also placing sentient beings to the state of the wisdom of fulfillment. And also attain to the state of the Zambokaya form, which is with the aspect of the Buddha Amagasiddhi, and the emanation body is the body of the Green Tara. So they attain to the state of the three forms of the Buddha. 중국 제שו된这내미 들이 어다 리뮤 치주리 아 리무도나 디제 다 강가로그 마션에 현소 바수 수수 신바디 냐는 야고체 다 강가 신gen 손이 냐는 제부제 다 신바 카부리 지신로 제는 돌아 당주 요 말에 누가래 가지 제자네 시리 계지 요 추지고래
So when you have learned these different visualizations, and if you are doing sort of a long recitations, then one can do them very precisely and alternatively, and because that whatever that one accumulates through the practice of Dharma, that is thing that one can actually take with them into the next life. And the mantra that one recites here is this 10-syllable mantra of the deity. The syllable Om has 6 benefits. So His Holiness will not go into detail the actual formation of the syllable with respect to the original language Sanskrit, because then everybody will be confused, not able to understand, not able to explain. So it will cause only confusion. He will not explain that. So the meaning of the syllable Om, there are many meanings. The first one is it has the meaning of excellence, and then it has the meaning of providing all the wealth that one wishes, and it also makes a person or being very fortunate by reciting the first syllable Om. So these are some of the benefits of reciting the first syllable Om. And then also by reciting the syllable Om, it also makes it makes a person to fulfill his promise, and also it makes everything very auspicious by reciting this first syllable. So it is said to be it's like a jewel. If one makes a special request to the jewel, it can fulfill most of the desire of this life. It cannot bring about anything of the next life, but it can help nevertheless to fulfill much of the desire that one has in this life. So likewise, if one does recite this mantra, first syllable Om, it helps to achieve a lot of the attainments of the practice. So the mantra of this 10-syllable mantra actually contains some of the names of the deity, such as like the Tara, the great liberator, and also the Tutara is also another name, such as like the one who is very fast, very swift, and giving the attainments, and very brave. And you find actually in one collection of the Dharanis, the mantras, in that volume you find many different names of the Tara. So it is like calling out for help, like a child would call out his mother for help. In a similar way that one is calling out for help by reciting the name of the deity.
Juni lamar wuji soya de la tari dodari duri sia druma song ya de dongbo de ngesong li juba asya.
According to the interpretation of a great master, John Lama Rinpoche, he said the first two syllables, Tare, it refers to the liberation from the bad migrations.
Chibu chumu lam jiriba yongzo dengi yori.
It shows the whole part of the man of initial level motivation.
Niba kuwa li juwari, chibu ndringa lam yongzo dengi yori.
And the second one, the Tutare, then indicates the whole part of the man of the intermediate level motivation.
Sumba dega sijin jiba tada li juba de dengi yori. Chibu sanje yukumu sanche gibe yone de dengi yori.
The third word, the third syllables, the Ture, then it indicates the whole part of the man of advanced level motivation. It parts the methods to free oneself from the permanence, from the two extreme permanence and nihilism, and the nirvana and peace, and also it explains the part that leads directly to the state of enlightenment.
Jana tatil hava karguita, be ngesong li drila la sa sanje sa le toya ke penyo de yori. Dije. Da na jin pentri ga nga ge wang chu draba sinya de druga ge zhu shen. Yama chida so yu toba ni du ni druga ge be menga tar tu sa chi re. Kong ge so na kwa le dru tarima to tare yin ji je turi nawa na le dru ma yo cha se los. Tari to tari turi sung ya de tari sia de kwa le dru de yin sung yo.
So, so thus the whole mantra includes the meaning of the whole part, leading a person from bad migration up to the state of enlightenment. And there's another interpretation that is from another master, Ngawantapa, and he was a great master of white Dharma, the white Tara, and he said the syllables on Tare, it refers to liberation from existence, from the cycle of existence. And Tutare here, according to his interpretation, he says that helping a person to overcome 8 types of dangers. And the Ture, the meaning of that is to help a person from the sickness, from illness.
Jiba de jeli drusia de la chilla, lambu jiba, singi jiba, drugi jiba, kome jiba, chadogi jiba, sade, chugi jiba, megi jiba, tile yodan. Tanda yani, nyomu ba jegin jiba li druari.
So actually the 8 types of dangers are explained with respect to the different things like the water, like fire and lion and snake and so forth. But actually it refers to 8 types of delusions or the defilements.
Timo lambi jiba jabs, chado druji jabs, maja singi jiba jabs, nyomu kaka timo minta yor. Pena timo da lambo ji, dralu tile, sume ji lungu nyiru, mazda, garina chi, pidun treshe yor. Nyomu tujin chugunu jigwe na jiswa ni mei jiba meta nyomu, tini ngajeni, person de tsundun she yor. Tuzun shazen jiba la ikondo moga kala roju, ngiba tundu nyala labritsi, tabe sola guyo dobaji tuzun shaza. Shaze tanda rwe, shaze de yani mambu yore, so jo me tuga nyo me tuga shaze chamudire yuju yore de, shaze zog mi so la tsewa jeba. Be so jo kenchi rinji chamuchi. De yin zang, kondo mube kala ro ju shinsi. Te song singen de, jisa de gomu ki jigore, de mu de jigore, ma shen zang te song sabore. Ngeba tungdu nya la sabre de, te song ka kaba nyo yore se na, tabe ko la nyo yore, tabe lang la te song saba yin zang, Kuala Kushiba Nuayo Mare, Nivadun la Havertse. Tabe sola gube, Dubachin, Tison Shazinji, Bajotus. Odrin Yomos, Cheli, Drani, Yoginu Jatsusun, Gnetrugusun, Legimanala, said Hacho Yor, or the Rayinza, Yomuba, Nong, Yomuba Jelly, Jovena, Jiba Jejus, Chin, Timo Lambola Soba, Chi, Jiba Jeg, Tegia, Mari Jiba Jova, Taranata Sun, the Vinebe. drama be tujen so mata khen chi ge jisun drama be ni be le da so ge pa she le thaya ge tam ju mamu yo re.
So you find actually 8 different type of dangers explained, such like like the elephant, and then the snake, and then and like that. And you find this being explained in a text by Great Master Gendutu. And so there you find each of those different dangers are explained and their special function and so forth. But in fact, Tara will not only help to a person from 8 dangers, but in fact she helps more, much more than just 8 inner dangers.
Pena jagalang hema pomuchi medo tundu jizuru ma hago mare teba chimbu sugu druma yi se druma le chawdi chi sa ku tungu yore kore mo shingu yo mare ho medo tundu saliya lambu chi ji simbare naguge.
So in India, that in former time, that one girl went out to pick some flowers, and then she was caught by an elephant.
Ho chi jin di je me ne su chi le chon sa me shina sin le min yo mari ke ja sa yo mari sen ta tiba chim su gu do ma sin ge ji su du sa do ma su di ja ga tara su gu ba tara su ke ja ku ke ja ba yin za na ne long bu ji ba le jo ne long bu chi ko ron ga de tong yu chi shen bo mu de ge tong ya la ja bi ji pri wa tong me ro 자디 장구신도 필고 줘야지 통화인 거야. 되게 너무시게 돼. 야케 좀 맞아야지. 너 지금 친구야. 마 주주지체. 너고기 배 차를 렌송체. 수신 고르자데 케. 마 좀버 친구 민초데서 지르케. 좀버 친구 맨망고 초데서 케 디도데. 아니 야 투사 친구들이야 보면 돼. 영차 송체체 너무시게.
So then there was nobody around in the forest, so she then called out the name of Tara, because she knew that there's something which is being practiced by the followers of the Bodhisattva path. So she knew the name of Tara, so she was calling out for help by the name of Tara. And then at that point, according to what this lady saw, that there came a green bird. And then at that moment, the elephant then placed the girl on a big rock and then offered 3 prostrations. And finally, this elephant took the lady into the village where a lot of people are gathered. And there this elephant placed the lady on a little rock and then again offered 3 prostrations.
제가 고소 루루에서 롱부시고 부모디 여기 자네 차르비 채서 통디 단데 순나 제지를 가지고 제부 꾸르시제 메상속에 좀에 대학에 룸바티게 제부체 부모디 제부라 와래.
So what happened is in that time the king of that place, that country, was dead and it was without king. And then when the people saw that this special type of lady, the elephant also performing prostrations, so that was a very, very great surprise, and she was appointed as the king of that country.
Then koya be jisu de je so sambaja tara tse ni ko tara teba chimbu tara drama singe yore singe be bende da tse tela tara ke kone res lo ju tri then ono menga sho ko nya le je je bu de tse de le chog me chog mo ru tomo mo ru lo bu chi ji ni ba yin ba da ya bu chung yo da zu san je sa re bu mo.
So what happened is that she was even more interested to find out the Tara, and she made inquiries from the learned Panditas, and finally also even received the initiation, and then she made a practice of that, and again very high realizations in the part of the practice, and so that she must have already done in the meantime fully enlightened being.
마라츠 드르마 게 가제 제샤네 티 미야데 대바 치무라 메데 무즈 대바데 요라메 직전에 대바 야우제 직전 대바 로초초 나다 뇨뇨 인삼바지 요사 티 대바 메라 모두 메제오레.
So on the other hand, that that although that we are very much sort of calling out for help with the name of Tara, but then there's little help coming. It's because that the type of faith that we have is not very steady. It's not a very stable one, and so therefore it is very difficult to achieve all the attainments.
Hema jebuchi bomu mare re bomu jela taras mi yore drume mi ta sha yore druma tinsan sudo druma chichi go druma drugar se mi lai mi mile magda do.
So there was once a girl also with the name of Tara, and actually that it's quite often that you find the name of the deity being given to a persons like the Dolma and so forth, that you find quite often among the human beings.
Te pente da ji be nyenga la hajang kheba chumu chung zum ja de jebu de tu shira gani korong ge bumu de pente da de la be namar bu de te ni te ba de jebu.
So then there was a pandita who was very good in writing poetry and poems, and then the king sort of then offered his daughter as a bride to this pandita.
And
then somebody sort of called by this name, and she naturally then responded because her name was Tara. So the pandita said that he didn't like to have this as his bride. So the pandita refused because that it happened that the pandita's deity is Tara, so he didn't like somebody to live with whose name is Tara, and so at that point the king was very upset. At the beginning that he thought of killing that pandita, but finally he didn't do that. And then on the other hand, that our attitude is quite different, not like those, and that we tend to mix many different things and not having the proper faith and devotion and so forth. So when you recite the mantra, that you have recited it very precisely and very correctly, and so not so much sort of distort the actual pronouncing those words, such like if you would recite Tara, then it's not quite correct, and if you would recite like a Vajra, it also is not quite precise. So you have to recite correctly in order to obtain all the siddhis or the attainments.
Zale jare, zalan chare, zalan jare, kundukan yungo mare, shayo mare, mare sayo mare, sale sha, shada sasigre, shat lotugo mare. Tuze izila shaben sigiore. Saben sigiore, Reva, shalo tugo mare. Kundu kaga majuma kan shetando, alikali nala. 자차자냐 자찬자냐 여말에 쓸다 군지 팀 매발 차샤 아이 우리리 양주루구나 양주니마도 여말에 쓸래 티 고야면도 니니 고야면도 근데 쓰기요 되대와 양주루 총마선이 여다 요주 자가 샤초다 베비 로나라 Jordan che du ka ju na le chi yu yo na de ma lo khol do me ju na yang ju ru cha chi cha ni se ni yang tu be gu du ka ka yo re ni yo gu gu ba te lo mo kha she na la ma da wa yin za te mi ke ta la ma da di ya san je ge son le shu da tong chu gu ma ba.
So with respect to the language today, that many the learned Indians, even the great Pandits today, they never accept these words, such like the za, zan, za, zanya. They say that these are something invented. These are not to be found in the original Sanskrit language. They only accept 12 vowels, but in fact there are 16 vowels, as it was said in the Tantra of the Chakra Sambhara. There are 16. That's the point that where one visualizes the 16 vowels.
Ta de deva che yang ha tin tri ba che. Tan deva che da che chu la je je da che wan de gu re chang nian ba ro chang ro de 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 jiang re de je yin na je je de che wan de to na deva de bu da gu ri gu re.
So when you do the recitation, if you could do it with the recitation free of 8 faults, it's very good.
Ta je je de la de imna pongzong ge shi be ju na song yo de de ju je se me yue me de shi jo zha ba da te zha ba ni che.
So those 8 faults are, the first one is reciting too fast, and one is reciting too slow.
Da chi ma yin ha jang chung wei me se da che wa da chung wei ju ni che.
And next two are either reciting too loudly or too softly.
Ma yin yin do yin je me se ge che shi ge shi gen do ya da chi che sam ba sim yan ba le yin do ya da ni che.
And then the next ones are the reciting, communicating while reciting is also not proper, and then reciting with mind sort of wandering to many different possible objects.
Gu je le gur chi na nyam be me gu je nyam ba da le gur da chi da nyam ba ni je je re chen je da che ho gu.
And then the missing the signs of the intonations, or the signs of the certain signs of the mantras are missing. If it sort of misses, then also that one it is not precise way of reciting the mantra.
이게 하든 저 자니베 이게 다 수수는 고좀에 자카테 되고 서로 전에 조송하래.
And if one recites too fast, then all the sort of the syllables then come together, reciting together. So this will then make it a very sort of very imprecise.
A hum shadow. 두순에 리리는 너는 전요 말이. 정도면 생겨 이거지.
So when you recite these 3 syllables, then you can recite them quite slowly, and so that is all right if you do it these 3 syllables quite slowly.
예모고 항시아노 쇼도 소바 쇼도 항시아로 들라 태야데 리메죠 말이. 이게 송고요 된거래.
Also, at the time of the meditation on emptiness, there's this final 2 syllables called hum. So you can take a little time to make this pronunciation slightly longer, because that there's a special sign which includes 1 extra syllable in that. So you can recite that slightly longer.
Yemba 이게 리리는 더 답을 대송. 스사 다 레, 다 레. On the
other hand, when you recite this mantra and taking too long time to recite next syllables, then that is incorrect. If when you do the retreat, if you recite the mantra too loudly so that it could be heard by others, also it's not correct. And then if you recite it too softly that you also are not able to hear yourself reciting the mantra, it's also incorrect. And also that if you are reciting, that you are not supposed to communicate with others.
아니 가긴하데 상로 가가동 첼로마 살동 드바 젠다 살동 거는 세 인소래 남이데 도슈 지그래 젠도 인제메스 디레.
And then while reciting the mantra, if your mind is wandering to many other possible objects, that's also then reciting with a distracted mind. It's also not proper.
고제 냠바 세야데 변나 이거 그거 요는 이거 통물에 셔주 요는 이거 전부래 전부 요는 전부래 또 저리 통도 동야다 고다 아주 요는 rinze 지고야 고는 전부 니자 요는 아다 통고 고야는 거다 근데 인자 무슨 냠소나 고제 냠바래.
And then sometimes there are the different signs of the vowels, such like the E sign and an O sign and then A sign and then O signs. Sometimes there are also the double A signs and then double O signs, and then you have to be precise in the pronunciation of those different vowel signs.
레고르 치나냐메메스 몰레 레고르 베고고디 텔리게샤요나 콜레베나 가골 켈리요나 강수구리 강수 나르지 퉁구리 장골레 텔리요는 야르지 퉁구리 달리요는 댄스 나르 퉁구리 텔리수수이다디 퉁구리 마트는 텔리냠바리.
And also that when you have this little tigli or the circle on top of a certain syllables like ka, then you have to recite it as kang. And so likewise that if you cannot pronounce correctly with respect to the circle on the top, again it is not correct.
여로를 찾아요나 하다 tum보고 남제요나 남제 아다 tum보 이마면로 하다 tum보 지고요 사라니자데요나.
And if you find the way Chinese so if you find in the mantra these double circles sometimes, then also that you have to recite correctly with respect to those different signs. So the main thing is that one should do the recitation without mental distractions and with a very powerful devotion and faith and confidence, and looking at the deity as inseparable from one's guru, and with that attitude, then one should do the recitation of the mantra. And on the basis of that powerful devotion and faith confidence, if one can perform these visualizations which have been explained, then it's very good, very precise. It's said that if one does recitation with one's mind wandering to other places, then even if that one goes to recite for hundreds of aeons, it will have no benefit, it will have no results.
So
actually there are the 6 types of the recitations that one can perform, and the one that is already explained is the visualization of the recitation of the samaya, the commitment, in that you send out rays of light and collect back. So that is one special type of recitation of the commitment.
가 레레제 이네 가 레레래 어리리제 가 레리베 어게 쪼쪼디네 어고나래 여데바 어제데 하정 세고 신동 바로 상로 동데는 주도 마제네 초데 야슈지 인스 공부인데 봐서 가저 어지 공부인데 봐서 공부인데 봐서 내가 죽는 쪼지래.
And one of the other way of reciting the mantra is the directing one's mind to those luminous syllables of the mantra. And here one doesn't need to aid the visualization of the recitation of the commitment. One can only remain with one's mind concentrated, directed to those luminous characters of the syllables of the mantra.
단 대바제 내배고의 이자지다 이전되고도 지우리다 리다비 도간마우 늦어보는 여기 나오고 화마다바 등에제 미세워 저거 차지 제 라지기 니바 상어 당시 장시다 마지모로 때문에 진실로 송무 삼바체 니바 장야 드리.
So at the end that when you finish the recitation of the mantra, you have to recite the long mantra of Bodhisattva. So this time that from the heart of the Lord of the family, then come the rays of light, which completely purifies all the mistakes that one had committed in the way of reciting the mantra, having been sort of very imprecise or having left out syllables, and all the faults and the mistakes are completely purified through this.
이자차 숨 뒤에는 숨 요래디 대사 이자리마도 누구요 말이.
So actually it is said that one should recite the mantra of Bodhisattva 3 to 7 times, but in the practice that one does it only once.
년배거다니 영 커거리 20명만 되고 그래. 20명만 들려 두바마도 누게 요 말이 담 요즘말에 오모다리 도다리들이 홍하 안지 소하스 오모다리 도다리들이 홍하 안지 소하스야 대인수 그래. 이제 나라 다리 도다리들이 소하 홍하 안지 다리 도다리들이 소 홍하 안지 다리 도다리들이 홍하 안지 소 권이 남아 있어. 레디네 얘기들아 하나 홍패요나 홍패가 죽을라 홍하 안지다. 소이는 소의 공로다. 소아들 레바 진시야 지수시야 인도 그 제주샤니 야가요 임다. 되는지 배송준 지레제.
So then in the for the retreat after this recitation, then one does the recitation of the mantra to invoke the wisdom beings. So this is done by one can do it in a very elaborate way, or one can do it by in a very concise way. That is by adding the 4 syllables Hua Anze, and if the mantra has home pair at the end, then one can add these 4 syllables right end of the line. If the syllable has swaha at the end, then one can fit in between here these 4 syllables of the wisdom invoking, and then finally put in the swaha. So thus one has to recite this wisdom invoking mantra.
다 예배거기 계셔 드리셔 먹어도 신 20명을 미버 가가요. 예배거기 예배들로다 지나야 도시어레디 예의나도 지는 주지. 네 예배 통제리 요리.
So His Holiness will not explain the way to the retreat and the way to do the recitation of the wisdom invoking mantra with visualization. So this one can study from this special guideline for doing the retreat, and one can study from that text.
다 예배들라 뒤지 예배 제매 예배야 장기 예배 요래디 뒤지 예배라도 뒤서에 나와 주제 송요나 가마로 예대네 나와 주선도 그래.
So there are many possible retreats that one can make. The one is the retreat that is done through time. It is said that one can do 6 months retreat, but it's said it's very easy to spend 6 months. One can also doing very little recitation, and most of the time being sort of living in leisure. Also one can spend 6 months very easily.
세면 냠바디 야슈 인서리 세면 냠바 템부 존나 가 무치야 말론에 지그레 레데 세면 냠바마지 차셔야 요마레 말아서 세면 냠바 데네 요마레 밀람지 동주나 어지 이바스그레 추에니 바지 동주나 애지 동주지 이모라스그레 제가 뒤그 바시 되베죠 할로 그래 대단 세면 냠바레 차셔야 나오지 요마레
then it is actually said the best type of retreat is to do it until that one receives some indications, some signs of some positive signs. But then again, this is cannot be relied on, since that it's possible that one may get some dreams, and then one can interpret in that dream in many different positive ways, and even certain illusions during the retreat also can be interpreted as something very great sign or indication. So it's possible that one can have certain obstacles coming from the maras, and so therefore also this is something that one cannot rely on.
Jibane somo lebe tseme nyama de tsema maju ba da dong nyama de da mongcha ju du ji be nyama da du shi son de da mo ne ngonya ji ri su ko da song ge tsema de mo mono wo jong da nyaba ne le ro za la mo ra chi de le sa de ju che je si wi shi me ma ka gu shi wi je si na du be cho ji be ji chi mo la ro mo ra je da mo ra ja da ma da mo ra ju de ru mo ji da shi yi shi me ma ja na ma ju che mo so da wo de ju che Jensi zhou na li shimi di yin hudu me la tadung gu be nyeba da me le ju she jensi su zhou na cho do ju shin ngu zhu nyu ru nian jing dong kai yin na me la tadung gu be nyeba si go re me la tadung gu be nyeba jen na sen to ta ge nyeba chik me la jensi ya sen to ta ge jensi che go re di jing dong nyu na pe na ji je nian jing da me le nyeba dong sha yu na yamba su go ma re jiu di gu shui wa re nire다 야다 고마리 카치기 되기요. 때문에 메라타 동고베 녀바디 제네 삼고발로 인자 제시 표야데 도다 전부 연구요래. 때마도 다 진예 전부 시야도다 진예 녀이 코로나다 다고래 녀이 녀이 쯔다마니 녀이시다 셰세부 제부 시라야고요 그래서 몽타 주리 녀바도 로발 녀주다마 Drubala Daju Ngajun Daju Jando Goinza, Nimala Daju Nin Dru, Shabungaju with Sabunu Sunachiore, Yambadi Hol Dongore. The day ordered the Yena Sidin Durim. One age water jelly so dubala no dota the Vajuro, the Darachi Jadu, Alaji Sunday Umuch, Sole, John Water and Solamacha, Jimmy Sunday Muchi Sunt and Jijig, Bauchi Yabashi. Yei, Jeboji Yei Lalento Tayori. 年轻的呢，才上才了呗，你咋那么过去？对不对？我要的才看日用，这老人都他的，谁讲个年一的全部老人养他的，谁讲个年一个的，年不得看公布这一么着，俺就把年不得看嘛，我直接年轻把家他是中国人，俺你看老人都他懂的呗，搞来看得懂，因为上头我们一周就是。 你们来研究家庭是评估的，每个家是评估的，对吗？没错嘛的。既然说因为家庭这个包括，啊，啷个出去看来说呢？研究的评，养娃去住地方了，起码路呢，研究的每个家评估的，的菜的，到时接了时来就沟通，别的有人接着讲。这的都是写过蛮多的。 So His Holiness has repeated that, like he said before, that one cannot sort of depend on the certain inner indications or signs that one may sort of receive, such like the dreams and so forth. But this is something one cannot depend on, rely on. Sort of not think that when you have a dream, you shouldn't think that it's something very great or from the coming from the practice, this kind of dream that one receives. Even if that one actually sees or receives a vision of the deity, it could also be certain obstacles from the maras. Soma tuji jo do cheda jawa la ni songo ni tu jawa chadi kuma to ma me wa da mo ne Son leve de ne tön ju karani de javani shivani jime kori jime ma ja shibe baras ne jeshi ge durin jigo ne toma ju jime del jolan jalar jin go telara lara se to kane ozi chu shung siri daran de jurin ji de ne ra la time kolonga ya lana ja kor na ra ra zo la time sane jila na zo ma de zo la time de zo ma ji ge zo la time sa de sane ne timba ne te sangi be to mo ba me ji chebar che ro da che zo mo de be zo mo la time de be zo mo ji ge zo mo la timba ne ji ho yi shwale ja se ga be ju mo be ga ji ne be ji chebar che ro da ya ra ya wo de shine yin ge zo mo la time de ar je na de ba de tim shi na da me mi ba me ba ba se je mo de te de zo la ti je ne ya ba ja sha ton be ang le chule nya dang wa am ba na la ja chen sha ba yin de ni zhe no ku je da cha chen so yong so zo be ku ye na ba re xin ba am nya xin ba ra sam je ni ba che de gu ma de so le je ri ye go mi ba me de na shi ba ni sim me shu shi mi ba de ma jo re shi ba ji so de rang ye ta ye ze mo do ji go ze de ba de le ga re bo se ma za ji de ya ji ze me go yong ro za ma de to wa dang yi ha chen je ba se da de de zi de mi ba de ba ni cha mi ne ju de de le da mo we jing go zhong wa na de zhe de ju be shi de de be cha de la zhong ze mi ne go jing go che ba na za mi de ra be la go go ma la ju de ya zhong yin do qin na cha de ni ge ding ge ta zhe go ma da go na cha de wo ge na zhe go be si me shong ba de go ba shi ne jing go che ba ra song jang de ne de le we ne ji yi wan me go ba 다디 조라 시네르고 되는 게 공개를 소리 가지고 다자 구도 그 말에 대저이는 다지 송도 텔레나바 송고야게는 동근 다질레 텔레고야데 미바 토에 쟁게 저주야래 다지 나질 제지 텔레고야데 미바 마부체와 인자 거버주야래 다른 데를 텔레 매바체니 카지랑 제거래 랑게 나질라 나이 좀몰라 텔레 용로 잠지 배 텔레카보 용 세마자 지금 나도 다den기 또도 주선 좀 용도 되지 대 도가라 담이 가지나 제바세다 어디 세부지 미바 때나 지고 니자를 대 팽이요 미바 토베네 지워세 도리 미바 차베네 지 고바세 도고요 어디 인소 고나지 저대오 소장 내내면 내려내지 이와 메고 버르 랑게면 다진이도 고마고 권내 손바니 메데 토베네 지비지 어쨌든 죄지 메데 토베네 지주 추고 셴네 메바덴베 고바전 더서 저 버르지 버데네 메베네 지니 지비지 고니가 저 보면마다 젠도 메베지는 송교에 들을 제가 젠도 리버를 자오 지리 라바타르 쳔베 차도 benne juru da shene tsinye ba duba chena nazi chati lama da jeba chiri jiwe jambe jingu da tewa chun chumba na jirin chamu da shene tsinye ba toban juru somba toman bo ne songle toman be waran de shiwa ne shi su bar da jawu shi be bar song de de toman je je la ba ne mo so sham ba sham be toman de ya me de sang jang ji song ji go ne ji lu kan na shi go ne shi ba da一些节日之类就是全部就把啥的，咱经济个老板，东那么有讲些那么什么呢？我一些就是那么，我说起没多么的特别特别那么的有把上班，你们那边些就是中位，明白？明白？这个建议呢，多么建议那么三年，中的来就是我生意就是我等着见着对那个时候，家境家企业家境。家基本那么有个那都是这基本东西，别拿这过去，人家后面拿几大不，人家后面几大不，那都是几把就把到，对来我自己不贵了，存钱多钱，准备他妈了，说别拿年我的说我了什么，我买点些说没我连对那送去没，那个让给别老多一天我看去为查去进的，这个东西我是下把人们拉不，这样哎呀，但是呢，他们这么啥不是我可能就把一那么的。인담디 발린다도마 가가소 예예예 예예可以소시 강시 시시 지가我的 도마페 토신도 제대로 고레트 레트 지고지 주변에 주변 다 줘버리데 가도 진입에 레 타제 줘버 삼는데 아강수지 시바는 지금 전에 내가推荐 시바네 영어다 다른 편이 기본 주지 바로 뭐 된다 예야리마다 동부 소제다는 뇌비 내가 소와다 바다 대연다 대주다 매나 시수자 시송장 강다량 고이 차리리 ju jinje la be cherang la nge bara tengu sto tengu ba goma kenzuru do ji chang song ju le chong to ma pyo ge yin to ma jinje la se na che na je re song ro.
So when you make the Dharma offering, you have to bless it like with the text for the end offering. One has to bless the Dharma and then offer it.
na che chen la ka si che sai ba che sa jinje la sa du se rang re to ma chen ne thong ya ma do sa ya me do sa lo ma di chi re.
So, so since it was already explained, so therefore it is transformed into the nectar, the Dharma that one is going to offer it.
jinje la sa so na du se yin ba la ya to me su da su ju ka ru su ja yo ne de le ya zhe na bu de le be to me su da le ya chen yin ju du se yin ba be za wa ke ngo ri ya su da de le cha be mi ba che cho so ne la me she ji du se ya bu shi bu yin su yo.
So after the blessing, that whatever that you have arranged as a Dharma, all of these different edibles that what you have arranged, then actually from the nature they're all nectar. So in such way that you can offer it to the guests.
다른 니자마 임베신다에 드는 동 쇼리. 다도만 표도 돈을 제 장도 다제를 돈 표주 요마리. 도마 표는 뭐로 쇼와리. 랑가랑 뭐로 쇼동야 요마바. 제가 랑게 도 홍일 당일에 와서 주 지점마다 선지자 저 소고 제장 스베 지점마다 왜 코르소 잡다 비고 제장.
So when you make the Dharma offering, you have to invite the object for making of these offerings, because you cannot make offerings to yourself. So therefore, through raceable light coming from the green syllable tongue, then you have to visualize the complete mandala of Tara as guest for the Dharma offering.
And Dharma range level jane chore. Majane jabe mevaje. 미발라 철라트는 표현 뭐가잖아요 느끼요. 라바도서 도지 테모 같이. 지금아 사주나 자우제 보는 저 장대 수와 주르스 야 지지를 자게 오세게 보고 도매 주 장니 되나라 혼의 수배 돈이 송사버지. 아이들 사버로 있는 거 가가 가이 가이스.
So you can actually place the Dharma in your own hand, or you can send out the offering goddesses who make the offering of the Dharma. So anyway, that when you make the offering, you should think that the very essence of the Dharma is taken through the light tube coming from the tongue of the deity in such way that you present the offering of the Dharma. And then after the Dharma offering, that you have to make the usual set of offerings, such as like on Vajra Agam, and then after that the inner offering.
지금 내가 도지 내가 테마도 면도데 배차다지 코로나로 오면지만 파마도 자세 예지요래 테마도 자 예지기도 지금 내가 도지 내가 너는 수어다.
And then after this you have to recite again the praise of the 21 praise to Tara, and followed by this special request.
근데 대사선은 저버서 이자도 많이 요소마시 도마를 짱다 마중하다 제로 야고 마중하 땡겐제 미세와다 되게 니버강 요바디 장시 장.
And then after the recitation of the mantra, the 100-syllable mantra, that is to clear one from any possible the mistakes that one might have committed in the way of offering the Dharma, whether one hasn't done it sort of very clean, or whether one hasn't been able to generate a powerful meditative stabilization, or any mistakes or faults of making offering of the Dharma will be purified.
Then all sonda jijude jode da toji yamu da phe jeban je ba to ma to do. Sumule yamu da phe jeban je jong zu ga ba ma da no de jo no de ba ya da ge to sho yo re. Che la chu ji se de ne me yo. Te yin ji mi ji o de ja ya ru ji. Bi corona se bu do de re. Dan ni ba jong sa so na ten yu ne ten ju me ne shi sui ji ju. Ten ju da shi sui gar je ne cha chi rang le ting guo de.
So, so when you have done the offering already completed, then you have to do the consecration, or that you can ask them to return their own natural abode. So anyway, that you have to you have to dissolve into your body the one aspect or one second form of those guests into your own body.
Ruta nala ishiba ranshin is dansi badanila thing say already. Tono le ishiba dan dansi ba ni yomare. Tono Korajan Tranjamato dansi ba je yomare.
So when you invite the guest for the Toma offering, that you don't have to think about the commitment being, only that you have invoked the wisdom being as guest for the making of the Toma offering.
Chesa tono chi ishiba chachi daniela thing. Chachi ten la temper you almost over the term sauce. You know?
So when you come to this point, that only one part of those invited wisdom beings will be absorbed into your body, and then half will be absorbed into the object.
Goma kenzu doji changi sunjun yi sundo di rangtingo ya di chinjila we chedo. Goma kenzu doji chang siya di goma kenzu ten chero tenpa chumiri.
So that. So according to the tradition or the teaching of this great abbot of Goma Tatsang of Devu Monastery, Dambachimbe, he said that when you finish the offering of the Toma, you have to dissolve into your body part of the wisdom beings which you have invoked, and half will be absorbed into the object representing those deities.
Toma miya de tun jija to la pune ya ta chui. Ma pune tun tame tal pune digre sungsha.
And the offering of the Toma actually can be done after every session. If you are doing 4 sessions, you can do 4 offering of Thomas. Or if you don't do it, then you have to do at least at the end of the last session, you have to make the Toma offering anyway.
Messi pejiri tongse don de nye je chu ji la tun da tun sama ni ji tun ji nya tun sama ni so jie jiang tun ji du yuan tong xi pejiri tun sa ni yin be de me da de du nye xi ma ge so de na tun li jiang tun sa ni ne ju la ne de ji na tun sama ji tun ji nya ne la bo ne ji be tun ji tun sa ni la bo tun ne tun da tun san ji lu ji song de ge ju la sa ji xin de qiao ni re tun sama ji ne ju la ne de do qiao de na de la ma ji la ma ji ne ju chu yin ne se yin ne ye ne da ye ne ju de da ji ba da mo ne song le da tun ne ju de la ma ju lam ji ne ju chu ji ne ju se ji ne ju ye ne ju da me ne ju ma chi ye ya da mo la tun sama ji ne ju ne ga na ta ji la ma la song su ji ne ju de qiao la lo ba ji me xie so ba zu la so ba mi ge ga na ma ta ji ma gu ye na那月有多少刚这个就是没送给我那里，这多刚下把大家就是没投钱那里都吃完了了，刚那个刚那大把人家们当，流动车位住宿吃完的，马路就我们过度去当，所以那那个些送的，他没个钱多，但就是头月两个给没给我拿钱给我就是那个，说把这位马位讲了嘛，但是叫我拿给我就那不说，朋友他也不送的。关键的是这个过完年，那个呢就把那些个人家今年把的呢，恰恰上完也些什么大罗，就是这个土木完的就会，我们过冬把它真把，像真把它新鲜，他这边就把说了，这里就在那就嘛，在那拉连都给几头些是从不头，嘛那边些个土木嘛也没有，他那那就那么家的，要是那么连个说，突然间那就了，这当然了，说那边的说阿拉一下去，做的。철수 송지 내주다 데마 고리 미게 가리 통지는 지선 좀 고이 인상 봐 지선 좀 고이 남주리 있어 암조나 야니 가리 최근도 라트바 천시 야다 메르츠라 롱데 이내에 지선의 송 다리도 다리 때 하지 랑자 인상 봐줘 랑게 세라 차다 무소니 좀 게심 잡을지 간데로 지 정도 내 지선의 토 인상 봐 어디 철수 송부터 이봐도 고고요 대중나 제치모 요이머리
So in the between sessions, that at least that one has to know the 3 different the situations. The one is that whatever forms appear to your eye, whatever forms, you have to think of them as the actual form of the deity, and whatever sound that you hear, whether it is sound of the different elements like water, fire, wind, and so forth, then you have to think of all of those different sounds, the very sound of the mantra of the deity. And whatever conceptions that rise in your state of mind, whether it is attachment, hatred, or ignorance, or whether any kind of virtuous conception, whatever arises in your state of mind, you have to think them as the very conception, the very thought of the deity arising in your state of mind. So when you sort of take meals, then also that you have to visualize some deities in your body, such as that in the throat you have to visualize Buddha Vajradhara, and at the heart you have to visualize Tara, and at the navel you have to visualize one of the 4 different aspects of the Mahakala. And so with this visualization, that if you then would take the meal, then you accumulate the merit as though that you are offering a Gana Chakra.
Jibane Songale, you say, Jimabango, go Jimabana Javamela, Toba Jinji Bamachu, Baranese, Melasimbana, Tuduso, like Majidama, Jashi, Somata, Taving Mania, Najin, say, near Conjim, Shingamda, then Benda, Rani, Jizumo, Jeta, Chase, maybe another Jinji, Yanguruji, Lamajizuma, Pamadu, Pamaju, Kubang, Goja, but the Toba Jinji Bamachu, so one day agent to Nizaruaja. Melam Zembardu, Mela Mela Yamushiva, Jilo Sushi, so the Tenshi, Dandeji, Tenshi, Shoda, Dende, Melam Zumba, Simona, Jamata, Juvata, Pewata, Melaji, the Konan so, Sola, Lover, Chadi, the Dala Sheja, Shindomam, and the Melangi, and Richuru, so Sumata, Jawad, Nanso Lambara Chow. Yang tawing isi tembo nye yu na nye kara trudu tanda dewe tingri ji mi ba mi ju newe se ji bar ji kondo chuku lang chiri ji go so me wa tara chi ne tawing isi shura chang dewe se ji nga do nye lar dang we ka zu chuli nya dawa dawa na dawa nakal tomba la chen dewa jin do la kuru jin bar so me na nye du ji se kuru song ji me ji cheba jin do jur la me lang jeba so la che che shi ni ju se dong nye Tobe lo ju ne ba so ne chi wu ne we ne ju chi man de jong le ma song jang ne ze le jong da ku ba nga ba ni song le dang we se yong ye lo ya ji ku de ma ji da do ba da le ji do chu le nya da we su dang shi la mo ra la ten ba ma ba so jo la ma na chu da de ba ja wa ne ne che wu shi song de ku ga ma la so yong ye nian be lo ya da yi ge ju ben ha nian ba ra du ba so ji ku wa na ni se me la ni lo nga ma da na ne ga shi ga da de Bende no, de bende no wa dang jeba, Che Shen Be Ngan Nive Jizime, Yen Cha Se Da Jibe Namra Shi, Yen Gor Jizima Rala Timishi, Naka Shu Be La, Yonga Yarala Timber, Samne Danya Lu Chimatara Na, Kong Dara Chuli Netawa Tapata, Che Dua Dara Se Yangan Zuji Kuru Dan Shi Sai, Nanake Alamanarala Timbaram, Samba Su Kondan Dara Jiri. Tara la potene zori zoji mala chasi so la na se ni la jalu ko do ga jushi te tara mane ja juji ne ju de je so zi do ta na mo nyam chi ri bar she de ji sung ge na wa ze salang ji do ba ji do pe de da ma ju ya chi ga da ba du su ji zin ma ji su zong de da bi xin zong bu chi ba da cere ne cere tan ji de ji sun zen ba chu ni yin la che bar do ji zin pa ma ni san ji ko ji chi de ji ra zu yin be che la ji ce ga shen do che nyur shen ruwa na kuwa li ruwa la tuji shen li chi chiri la be sen to wa zhuma shi cha pa tang hu ji chi pu tang ji suwa suwa tang ji be nyen be to men suwa to be me de nye ji su suwa su ya namar ta pa tang lu ji ta ye ba shi ju ba ni cho zang yang jo pa ra ma nu ba te tang te ta ki chi me du be yi shi ji de pa cha pe zhang ne sa pe ta ma ni la ne ne yin shi ne ju la zhuma cha wu shen yang nyen pa le pa ra tin be sung li Chongwa Daraji Le Ranjamana, Koso Kampo, Jubala, Shonale, Sushin, the Medavi, Cheribeba to Major Kaja Jubala, Subatinati, Nibaran Rubanya, so new, Joba Yeno, the Remember Sibasimi, Cheritoji, Rundo, Tade, Jadu, New Momeji, Zive, Rude, Tadon, Nila Move, Tadinja, Tadon Kebe, Kedan Zumbara Lung, Pasam member, Dungi, Chimne Deve. Mendo Sime, Deve Mendo Sime, get you and on your go out to reveal Habara to Sibe Ponso, Ponso Ender, Pendi, Molun, Toba Men, the Narjata, Don Baby, and Jima Drode, Jima Drode, Randoji, Trubadoba, Nashi Jun, Erde Jesse, Jeda, Tiseko, Labra Zibe, Toji, Dam, Toji, Drube, Go, Taleb, Rodula, Jago. 也问吃了不么年子都就没就给就这结果商业这开销各位也所做，刚过这边没年老这你这工作前两年是工作这样多呢，那我多见那个新的呢，全部结吧，全面说拉巴的人这类呢，少个人你当结吧，旁边学习这么年3年赶上。 那开发的在这里呢，手上给工地北北棉花年空就开发的，开出的，他大概给我钱多钱，你给帮上写的了，写弄对这的，人把那些养鸡都写就少点多些水分，这外，爸爸出去多些技术人，旁边送上多些养，这些家里就呢，就对几位兄弟去么的这写的那些，三万的这钱那这边人当的，这些光了这觉得才能多个人用给周围国宝，托人就是希望把个经验是养素能把握，大理接近个吃的，他实际嘛东自己才是人，你写写不写龙门都的，这是些古人写的写不人，这样两年几个人尊重我的，一两现在没这个主呗牛不，他不得来说的主意呢，去来说忙不要的，来说就是来可多肉看着不。 是这样的，俺来说个名单的大去就嘛说，俺就嘛都把些出不是，他做人的有的呀，他就搞就吵架。
对，就是很大，还当不成产业，你把，你的这个最错，
你的这个来错就些，怎么样？
So this one says that with that. It's roughly complete the explanations on the generation stage, and if one does practice this particular deity, then it's very there are many possibilities, there are many type of practice, and it's only said not named all of this possible practice that one can carry on, but there might be some opportunities later to explain more details. And then he will stop there for today. And then the last part on the generation, completion stage, will be given about 2:30, right? At 2:30.
Guru
Yes.